Eastern Highlands province, a province set deep in the mountains of Papua New Guinea. The province is high up and very chilly. There is lots of sunshine, but the temperature range between day and night is extreme. Rainfall is abundant at 2,905 millimeters per year. The region, famous for its culture, and its people are known for growing top-quality coffee and fresh vegetable produce. Subsistence farming is a tradition that dates back hundreds of years in this part of the country. It's way of life. But challenges are still adamant. Today, farmers still face the same problems as their forefathers. Problems like weather, soil, fertility, pests, and recently, commodity prices. People want to see changes to agricultural policy, but over the years, little has shifted and the signs are showing meager prospects, especially for the younger generation. It's these signs of widespread poverty in rural areas that have driven many young people to cities. The little this village do possess are food gardens, the simple living from hand to mouth. Imagine if all this can change, if you were to use the simplicity from this way of life by doing what you know and do best to reduce rural poverty. Current Governor for Eastern Highlands, Honorable Peter Numu, has concentrated his focus on agriculture with bold and innovative policy interventions that is transforming the agricultural sector in the province.
Priority areas when I came in, the three main priority areas that my government promoted. Firstly, is road infrastructure. Secondly, is the agriculture. And third is economic development or investment as well.
His revival of the Junkao technology is making headways in the agricultural sector of the province. Junkao technology. Yes, Junkao. What is Junkao? Jun means mushroom or fungi in Chinese, and kao means grass. Junkao technology comes from China's Fujian province and is the invention of Professor Lin Zhanxi. Radically different, it is proposed to be a vast enterprise employing simple cutting-edge technology from breakthroughs in genetics and bioengineering that utilizes grass as a substrate to grow mushroom.
So for the mushroom production, it has the advantage of a short production cycle, high profit, and it has been widely applied in China's these poverty areas for farmers as a way to for poverty reduction. But the traditional planting use wood logs or sawdust as the raw material to produce mushrooms, which is not sustainable. So we start to use the grass to replace the wood for mushroom cultivation, which solved the problem.
Me want Mrs. Flomi igolo so I'm interest lo mushroom now. We play igolo mushroom place now na all time all introduce him this play lin grassi kam lo me to plan a talk you le plan him mushroom in gracia by give him shade na kind of sen stop so me plan him People can plan him now, na plan him mushroom penis, yeah. Na tu bian mi plahari mos desla lean grass. By got walk longen also by giving lo memek or animal. Na kind also mi go na one pla big pla walk that desla lean grass where all line we come line mi pla lo mushroom also mi pla all to also desla ya also cut him na put him inside long mushroom seed. Pack him now. Growing mushroom inside lo display. So main function or work logenia, also mix him inside na working seed here, seed lo mushroom here.
We use the glass, use jun-cao as a substrate to grow mushroom. So first step, you have to prepare the glass. Because this jun-cao glass, the yield is very high. So after we harvest, then we first dry them. After dry, we use the machine to crush, become the powder, glass powder.
Mushroom is not new to Papua New Guinean culture. It has been in our diets dating back to our ancestors. But now, with jun-cao technology, local farmers can grow mushrooms more quickly with less energy, less environmental impact, and greater abundance of produce. In the late 90s, a boom in the mushroom industry triggered a demand for mushroom supply in Papua New Guinea. At the time, Mr. Brian Y was a prominent figure in the research of mushroom cultivation.
In the late 80s and 90s, there's been some research that was going on. I remember I visited two places. One was in in Bulolo. There was a research in Bulolo and also in Mendi. They were doing it with solid spawns. They were using oak trees or Castanopsis trees to cut the logs, the mature trees, to inoculate the solid spawn into after drilling, into those logs and have it exposed outside.
In 1997, jun-cao technology and dryland rice projects was introduced to Papua New Guinea in Lufa District, Eastern Highlands Province, through a signed agreement establishing sisterly province relationship with the Fujian province of China. But after 20 years, little is known about jun-cao, and the project still lays dormant due to lack of focus and support from previous governments.
So it's almost about 20 years now when this technology was first brought in. There are a lot of, as I recall back, there's a lot of upsets on the way. Had there been no upsets, had there been no fluctuations, and had there been stability, you will see by now this technology will have already spread over to all throughout Papua New Guinea.
The technology was there. The support from the Chinese government through that relationship was there. It's just that we didn't take the relationship seriously until the Numu Mipo government came into existence, and I think it's becoming. It's sort of started off at the previous government, but it has picked up, and the Numu Mipo government has really picked up on that to strengthen that relationship through the jun-cao technology arrangement.
As an administrator, what was lacking was political support. Administratively, we saw the potentials. We've attended so many trainings, but we can't go further because we lacked political support. But under the current leadership of Honorable Governor Peter Numu, we are looking at going into the next level.
After the current government under Honorable Peter Numu, when he came, he said, mushroom is the thing we should support. We should give all the support to mushroom and let it go forward. He gave us a lot of money. And that's how the project sort of it woke up again from sleep. We were sleeping for 15 years.
While Juncal is in its dormant phase in PNG, the Fijians, who are big on advocating global warming, call it magic grass. To most Africans, it's called miracle grass, as parts of the African continent is not suitable for growing vegetation. So far, Juncal technology has supported 1 million households in 106 countries.
$17,500 households has eradicated poverty through Juncal technology by planting grass, by growing mushrooms and sell the mushrooms to all over China, to the big cities like Guangzhou, Shanghai, and form an industry. So this experience for poverty eradication has been applied for other developing countries like Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Rwanda, Lesotho, South Africa.
Since coming into office in 2017, Honorable Governor for Eastern Highlands Province, Peter Numu, through his vision and policy for agriculture, has revived the Juncal technology and dryland rice projects after 20 years of being dormant.
Every successive governance or political leadership in the province, they are not putting more focus on this Juncal technology. They just signed the memorandum of understanding and then, not memorandum of understanding, but sister relation, diplomatic papers or so. But not really into going into the business of Juncal technology. But when I came in 2017, I said, okay, see, now we have the potential, we have the technology here, we have the people who are spearheading this Juncal technology all around the world. They're more focusing in Eastern Highlands. So why not we use this technology to commercialize rice?
The Eastern Highlands provincial government, through the leadership of the governor, have signed a MOA with the Chinese government for the revival of Juncal technology with a funding of 30 million kina from the People's Republic of China for mushroom and dryland rice to be cultivated, mass-produced, and eventually commercialized.
It's a project initiative by Fujian provincial government and Eastern Highlands provincial government. And I saw that there is a great importance of cultivating rice for food security, income generation, and the reduction of poverty.
Juncal is a technology created to eradicate poverty. Local mushroom farmer Zaka and her husband Mana Abori started off planting mushroom just for family consumption.
First, we planting ocean and we plant by block kaike. Na we plant kaike and one plant nice plant kaike too. You mean introducing lo Papua New Guinea also lo Papua New Guinea nowadays here. We plant the old man. Oklo dialo this plant. All seek where napkeli mi plant long ena because long where you mi kaike long. Mushroom you look him and one plant good plant kaike way and by helping me plant site lo health na deslawe got all kind something of some fats or kind of same starting site long and good pla and me looking one pla good pla lo mushroomia and all same site long kiss him extra income lo helping family na kind of same easy lo grow easy lo maintain him na two since that people all work lo look savelo when them kaike and good player mushroom is one of the choices where all like kisim na kaike so and now demand low by mushroom and they go high.
But as the produce of their mushroom increased, they started selling. To their surprise, the proceeds earned from selling mushroom was beyond their expectation.
Mi looking osem coffee sisno something. Yes, mi ken big pla money but kam 60 tasol. Na en one gold tasol mi kisim na mi finish now. Lo flower time mi got big pla gathering na kind of sem mi carrying flower blo mi go na. Mi no ta dis la time tasol mi working money. Garden kai mi looking mi harvest mi go siram lo market ya sansai hotimi lo market. Mi siram ni go na end of the day mixi 150 kina. Suppose mixing go na no kat lo na mixi 50 kina 100 kina. Na planting stable na mi carrying come back here. So lo garden ya mi no looking mo se me money alright lo garden. Lo mushroom every weekend mi toke mi harvesting 2 or 3 plata mi. So when lo weekend mi looking money na start here. So suppose me needing some soap lo mi or cooking oil lo house or this la. At least mushroom ya start na mi got money lo still continue lo buy meat na. Lance money lo picking ini or this la mushroom money start. Na mushroom tu se mi looking me no katim. Marasin ba mi pla putim tu lo oneme. Kam ta so putim lo giraun na grow ya grow na mi pla harvest ya. Need mushroom or marasin bo killing binatan or this la no kati. Expense plan lig straight.
As witnessed, the process involved in planting, harvesting, and selling mushroom is simple, easy to maintain, and very rewarding. There should be awareness on encouraging villages and farmers in rural areas to plant mushroom, as it is a substitute for protein and is much healthier. Like coffee, mushroom has the potential to sustain the rural population financially. The governor's aim is to help local farmers in his province be self-sufficient by creating a winning combination for them through Junkao technology and dryland rice cultivation to generate income in an affordable way without spending too much money. Poverty reduction, income generation, and food security are the main goals in his agricultural policy. This will foster more cash flow and economic development. He has extended the sister relationship of his province to the next level, with trade and investment being one of his main priorities.
Just recently we went to Port Moresby with the entire government, that is the administration and all the presidents. We went to Port Moresby and we signed this MOA. I basically want to extend this sister relation to a next level. When Petty Lafanama during his time, they signed this agreement for Junkao technology, that is rice and mushroom. Now that I came in, I used this as the stepping stone and further extend the relation into more trade and investment.
In 1997, Eastern Highlands experienced one of the worst severe droughts ever. All staple foods were destroyed. This challenged intellects in the province to ask one bold question: can rice be grown here?
My stay in Eastern Highland province for the demonstration of Junkao technology. It happened, the big drought happened. The many farmers, they have no any food left at home. Even the sweet potato has died. The wild grasses dried. Peter Gale, the director of the Rufa district, asked me whether Rufa can plant rice. Omalefa also asked me, now without sweet potato as the staple food, is it possible to find another alternative stable food source for the farmers? But the foreigner always said Eastern Highland shouldn't grow rice because it cannot be grown in Eastern Highland.
In that period, there had been glimpses of proof and success that mass production of rice can be achieved in the province. Dryland rice production in Eastern Highlands province went on to set world records with the yield of dryland rice reaching the maximum of 8.5 tons per hectare. This was very promising, but the lack of attention and assistance from project initiators together with changes in weather patterns were factors that were responsible for the downfall of the project. In time, the production of mushroom and rice came to a halt.
The tractor was the main impediment to my rice production. The government didn't help me. I went to the bank to buy a tractor too. There's application there to National Development Bank. Nothing came out of it. I went to National Planning Office, nothing came out of it. DIL, nothing came out of it. Had I got a tractor at that time, I would have gone miles.
Ono kamlukim, rot mino niti man turso, traktao, kat plani man istalo paim na gibi mi na brani mol kata isen haren se nau bai, un mi play na kakelas un play it.
Sit bromia, okay, people, inogate sanya ulikam gibi. Na impra plani mi go pinis na impra usim tintin na 20 years ago na impra usim tintin esta. Okay, sanya ikam peke na karim ligri ikam gibi mia. Mi koloi mina na mi pura city sta. Mi koloi mina mi yet puti ne city tu. Na mi yet puti city tu sta. Sta na mi no sot na. Taso kama sapoti mi resa rice city aba mi kai mi sai to people. People na girano ria planti mi ko ni ko plani bro. Na tarakita imprega tu pura pinisiro. Kama ni pinis. Mi geni karim tarakita o bota mi imprega plani rice for people.
Professor Lin Zhanxi, the father of Junkao technology, has invented techniques such as the dryland multiple rice technique, which can maximize the quantity and yield of rice. This can make a big difference in the future of our nation's ability to feed itself.
I know that rice production is possible. But due to the constraint of the irrigation, there's no irrigation system here in Eastern Highland provinces. So we cannot grow paddy rice, but we still can try the urban rice. Urban rice has made 2 world records. The first was made by the Chinese expert team. The experiments plot in Lagamiyufa village. The expert has planted rice once and made continuous harvest for 13 times. So this has never been done before in the world. And the second record was made by local farmer, Kobe. His rice production has achieved a very high yield, which is 8.5 tons dry grain per hectare. We have checked the record, all the papers, news for the record of the rice production, and we were very sure this was the highest record in the world.
What's the secret behind dryland rice? To meet adverse geographical conditions, dryland rice is perfectly suitable to cultivate in the highlands of Papua New Guinea, as irrigation methods are not necessary. In towns and cities across the nation, the sale of rice in supermarkets reflect people's demand for rice. Every year, the government spends huge sums of money to import rice. Rice always claims an important place in the diets of Papua New Guineans. The demand for rice is relentless, but still most of the country's rice is imported. Papua New Guinea consumes 400,000 tons of rice every year. that is valued at almost 600 million kina annually. Prime Minister James Marape has also stressed concern on this issue.
Focus on an industry or industries where majority of people are. And I believe in my heart of hearts, as a product of an agriculture believing parents, as a product of educational system that believe in agriculture, as a product of a country that has agriculture as part of our intrinsic lifestyle. By 2025, no more imported food on every food we can produce in this country, including rice. Who says we can't grow rice here? Science tells me some of the original rice species are traditionally grown in our country.
We've got to concentrate on the import replacement, and for rice specifically, with 800 million every year, that's a lot of money. This is a government policy to reduce the import of rice by half in this period that we are going to now.
But there will soon be a change in this trend. The cultivation and mass production of dryland rice in Eastern Highlands Province under the leadership of the Numu government is taking a new approach. It is a challenge unprecedented in the history of this nation, but Governor Peter Numu has pledged and committed his full focus for this rice project in the province and has purchased equipment and machinery to help local farmers increase the yield and production of dryland rice.
In line with the policy of the government, we did a couple of submissions, proposals to the national planning. I invited the national planning officers to come and visit the factory in Lufa and also the display area at North Goroka. So from there, that time was the time during APEC meeting. So President Xi Jinping came and approved 30 million kina for this technology, Juncow technology, which now I see that it will also help towards increasing Juncow technology programs and activities in Eastern Highlands Province.
Rice, we already we have model farmers. We have individual model farmers like Francis Harukawe at Pimito. He has already last year he has produced 12 tons of rice already. Now he has planted large, double it up. So I think we should be harvesting 20 tons of rice this planting season. And we have Upper Lake also. He also has planted about 3 or 4 hectares of rice already, and he's harvesting now. So we'll be in the process of processing his rice. And also Kopi Manwe, those are the pioneer, farmers that started with the project. But now they are going into large-scale planting because we have encouraged them, we have supported them with fertilizers, with tractors.
To increase production, local farmers would require new farming methods to complement the old. That is why the governor has plans to run workshops with training and extension programs to be carried out throughout the province.
We use the machineries to increase production. We're moving away from the traditional style of using spades and bush knives to plant rice. So when I came in, I introduced this more tractors. I asked China Wuyi, and they donated 2 tractors. And the provincial government, we had to buy 4 more tractors. And from the money, 30 million Canada signed by President Xi Jinping during APEC time, we'll use that to buy more equipment, including tractors, so that the production will increase. So that is basically my focus on extending it to all the areas in Eastern Highlands Province.
The prospects of commercializing and industrializing rice production will be further boosted with plans of a rice factory to be established as a rice milling machine has already been acquired by the governor.
When I went to China, I bought this assembly line, the rice milling machine. It's now already on foot now. So this assembly line, or the rice milling machine, will mill the rice and then do packaging, value-adding packaging. We'll have brown rice, we'll have white rice, packaging, just like what you see on the shelves, our stores around town areas. So what we're going to do now is do the same thing, but that will be a homegrown rice, not like Trukai, jasmine rice, and root rice. We will into commercialization and we'll give competition with those rice. Those are imported rice, like Trukai, root rice, jasmine rice. Those are imported rice. So when the government, national government, says stop importation of rice, they have no plan. But Eastern Highlands, under my leadership and my government, we are putting it into practice by getting big machines as a factory to put in place. We have already have the increase in production, so now we will do more packaging. Tons and tons of rice will be exported out to other provinces.
Governor Numu plans to create a food bank for mushroom and rice to support the growing demand for rice, with the enterprise to be partly owned by the people of Eastern Highlands.
Agro-industrial park, I incorporate this. This will be the food banks of the islands region, and possibly will in future will supply to all throughout the country. I want to make sure Eastern Highlands becomes the food banks. So you talk about agriculture produce. That agro-industrial park will generate millions and millions of kina as an internal revenue for the province. One, through Juncow technology, I incorporated it into this agro-industrial park. That is mushroom factory, and then we have rice factory. Now you see we are moving into industrialization now. So those factories will take care of that. And then a warehouse in which Juncow technology experts will manage the entire production of rice, increase production and supply to the industrial area, the factories. And then from the factories, it will be taken care of by the company. And I established through the PEC, I established this company. And that is my vision and my brainchild. And we named this as a rice company for Eastern Highlands provincial government. 40% owned by provincial government business arm, that is Nokondi Investment. And then we gave 60% to all Eastern Islanders. Each districts, they get 10% free carry share. They're not contributing anything. We gave them ownership towards this rice company. So this is how those 6 cooperatives. So I directed the natural resource advisor, our administration, to get all those cooperatives registered, which we've already done through the commerce department. We've established, registered all those cooperatives. And then I put a seed capital of 50,000 kina each to all those cooperatives.
The cultivation and commercialization of rice is of great importance because rice has replaced our traditional staples throughout the country. The importance of agriculture is paramount for his people's economic growth. That is one of the main reasons why the governor has set his policies in line with farming and agriculture. Governor Numu's vision is to build his people and province by offering services to strengthen their economy from the household level up. He is also focused on strategic investments in roads and infrastructure in rural areas and believes improvements in subsistent food production and better market access and supply chain for the rural population are the most effective ways of guaranteeing economic growth, as this will encourage private, domestic and foreign investment for his province.
Now is the foundation here. The 5-year term is my foundation here to fix my province administration, fix my people, tell them to do this, do that. So if they elect me back to 2022, so this time I will fix my people, fix my government, and make sure that I create a budget system. I'm moving away from the old traditional way of doing a budget for the province. We are creating the system now for people to benefit, people-oriented. Now budget must go in line with that. We create the system, now we have to have a budget system. So we already know that these are the areas that we need to put into budget into assisting our people so that province, they will maintain themselves while we focus on big projects. So by next year, 2022, if my people elect me back, that will be the time when we'll put money into the banks, commercial banks. By then, our farmers would have already have the money in their business or business account or in their company account. So they will have a form of cash flow. Then we'll put money into the commercial banks like NDB or BSP, and on top of what the national government is doing by putting money into those commercial banks for loan schemes.
Papua New Guinea relies on subsistence agriculture to feed its population, while the government has focused on enabling opportunities for other industries. Agriculture development has remained stagnant and unable to create employment and economic returns that could come from investing in commercializing subsistence agriculture. Governor Numu is paving the way forward by creating pathways for the people of Eastern Highlands Province through realizing the potential of agriculture by providing tangible improvements to his agricultural policy, and in doing so, turning negative trends into positive ones. There is now an accountable distribution of funding to manage agricultural projects in each of the province's districts. The governor is changing a trend so that young people can be involved in commercial agricultural ventures, creating a better future for the younger generation of Eastern Highlanders. His priorities require his people to tap into what they know and do best: agriculture.